All right, what is going on, everybody, and welcome to the Jeremy on Marketing podcast. I'm super excited for today's episode because this episode is hands down the question that I get the most. It's something that I've put a lot of time and effort into trying to solve, not only for when I was trying to solve it for Ripple and, when we were trying to grow and scale, but now especially running a digital marketing company, which is Patch, where we work with over 150 cash-based clinics throughout the country, trying to get more new patients. And that is our question today: is how do you get more new patients, and how do you look at that, and what is the easiest ways to get more new patients in the door, and what are the things you need to be doing in order to get new patients in the door? So again, this is the number one question that I get, and really what I'm going to try to do today is simplify it for you. And this is how I look at it when I was putting Patch together, and what are our deliverables for Patch, what's going to be valuable for people. And obviously the most valuable thing is going to be just helping people get more new patients in the door. That comes from a bunch of different things. Really, what I've broken it down to is there's 4 different ways to get more new patients in the door. And in today's episode, I'm going to break down each one of them, but all 4 of them. The first one is going to be local marketing. I think most people, that one's pretty self-explanatory. Even if you're just starting out, chances are you're doing a really good job on the local marketing side of things. It's one of those things that a lot of people don't like doing, though, and we'll talk more about that. The second part is going to be through search. So just finding people and getting people in the door through search. The third way is going to be from your back-end systems. A lot of this is going to be from CRM. We'll talk about that. We'll dive deep into how to utilize the CRM. And then the fourth way to get more new patients in the door is going to be content marketing. So again, those are content marketing, CRM systems, search strategies, and local marketing. And again, the key with this is that when you're just starting, 1 or 2 of these things is what you should be focusing on. If you're looking to grow and scale, there's no possible way to grow or scale, I believe at least, unless you're doing all 4 of these things very, very well. And as a clinic owner, even if you have other staff members on board, you can't do all of these things on your own. This is where you have to start looking at what is your zone of genius? Do you do local marketing really well? Do you want to lean into the search side of things? What are you doing really well so that you can lean into that and then figure out what you need to outsource afterwards? So I think that's a really important thing for, bigger clinics and, solo clinic owners that are looking to grow. This is something that you got to think about. It's what can I lean into? Where is my time and effort going into? Because, again, the most important thing that you can do is get more new patients in the door. So let's dive into the first way, which is going to be local marketing. This is going to be all about building trust and awareness within your community. So these are going to boil down to, the most obvious thing is going to be the events that you're doing. So you've got the injury streets, you've got the workshops, maybe there's a local 10K or a marathon, and you're putting a table together just to help the community out. Maybe there's a health fair, anything like that where you're out in the community, you're providing a service, and what you're looking to do, obviously, is to gather leads. So the most important thing with the local marketing is when you're first starting out, you have to have that local marketing presence. You have to have that presence in your community. That's how people are going to get to know, like, and trust you. You really shouldn't start running ads or worrying about the search side of things at all until people in the community know who you are. That's a really important thing to remember, because if you are running a bunch of ads and people are seeing, your ads on Google and on Meta, but they don't know who you are, they've never seen you out in the community, then they're not going to trust you and they're not going to move forward. They're not going to give you your money. So that's where this local marketing side of things really comes into play. I think the most important thing to remember with these local marketing is, again, I think a lot of people don't like doing this. I never liked doing it when I was running Ripple, and it was one of the things we didn't really lean into it too heavily. And I'm going to get into, why we didn't in a second here. But, for the clinic owners that kind of dread doing these Saturday morning events, what you need to do in order to make your local marketing work really well is to make sure you have your backend systems in place. So if you're doing an Orange Theory, Mobilities and Mimosa event, don't just show up there, talk to people, grab some emails, write them down, maybe give out your business card. What you need to do, and where we've seen this be the most effective, is people are either going to sign up pre-event. So there's say let's use the Orange Theory for that example. At the Orange Theory, there's going to be a flyer there with your name and your branding talking about the event that you have going on. On that flyer should be a QR code for everybody that's showing up to the Orange Theory classes that week, the couple weeks leading up. They'll be able to go to that flyer, scan the QR code, which is going to take them to a landing page that's branded for you. And looks like, again, it's going to talk about the event that you have going on, but it looks like your clinic's branding. And then what people can do is they can sign up for that event there. So there's going to be a form there. If it's an injury screen, they'll be able to choose that 15-minute time slot that they're going to sign up for the event. But then the most important thing is whenever somebody fills out that form or whenever somebody books that time slot, it needs to go into your back-end CRM systems. And again, this is going to be the third strategy that we talk about, so we'll dive deeper into that. But you can't just have these leads go into the ether and really have no idea, where they're on. Maybe it's on, one event's on a piece of paper, the other event's in your MailerLite, the other event's in your PT Everywhere account. You need to have a standardized system for all of your leads to get logged into, because the most important thing, and the thing to remember with these local marketing events, most people aren't going to be ready to book an evaluation right on the spot there. Maybe you're really good at selling and you can convince people and you create a really good relationship with somebody right off the bat. But most often, say you have 10 people show up to the event, maybe you schedule 3 evaluations on the spot. Those other 7 people are probably more than likely to come in for an evaluation, but they're just not ready. They don't have their phone on them. They don't want to schedule something until they go home and they get themselves settled and they actually take a look at their work calendar. So that's where having all of these leads in a CRM backend system is super important. And then having an email drip that goes out afterwards. So, not just doing the local marketing events is important, but also following up with these people afterwards. It's a very, very important thing to remember. The second side of local marketing is how I actually grew Ripple. And I think this is something that's really overlooked. And I get a lot of questions about this, but again, our local marketing wasn't low back pain workshops or bulletproof your shoulders or injury screen at Boston CrossFit. The way I looked at it was my local marketing was partnering with fitness instructors, personal trainers, group exercise coaches, people who own companies in the area. My form of local marketing was treating those people like gold. So I had a list of, 10 to 12 of those people, and whatever they needed, whenever they needed it, I was there doing it for them. If I had to go to the gym across the street and, slap a table down and see one of their personal training clients, I would do it, and I would do it for free. If we wanted to do a lunch and learn at the company across the street, or if I had to come in on a Saturday to, make up for one of the training sessions that I had with somebody that Wednesday, if it's part of that local, top 10 golden referral list that I have, I would go out of my way to do whatever I could for these people. And that paid off, 10, 20, 30x for me, because, that simple hour of going out of my way and doing something for free for somebody that had a lot of pull in the local network, they were so happy to send over everybody that they knew. And the cool part about these people is that they already have a ton of pull in their space. The personal trainers, they're working with 40, 50 people that are super into health and wellness. The people that own companies in the area, not only are they going to send over all of their employees, but they also know the other people that own companies in the area. So they're going to send people your way as well. So that's where I'm more than happy to, do those sessions for free and not have to waste my Saturday morning at an Orange Theory trying to do a low back pain workshop event. So that's how I looked at local marketing. And I think it's something important to remember. And I think it's just a little bit of a change of what people normally do. So that's going to be the first way. Local marketing, doing all the events, partnering with the local influencers. Let's get into the second strategy. So the second way to get more new patients in the door is going to be through search. Search is pretty simple, but very hard to act on. Search, really all you have to do is you boil it down to two different sides. There's going to be the organic side of search. So you're thinking, organically ranking on Google, your Google My Business profile, and showing up at the top of the page when somebody searches for physical therapy clinic near me. And then the second side of it is going to be the paid side of things. So let's talk about the organic side of things first. Somebody is searching for sports physical therapist near me. The way that organic search is going to work is that your website is going to show up on the first page or maybe at the top of the maps listing, and people are going to click on that link. They're going to go to your website, they're going to book a discovery call and move on from there. Sounds pretty simple in theory, but it's very tricky to rank on the first page unless you're in a really small community or you have a really good SEO dialed in on the back end. So one thing to think about when you're thinking about SEO and getting your clinic to rank is what we call long tail keywords. Trying to just rank for physical therapy is not going to work. It's going to be very, very hard, especially if you're in Boston. We're competing with professional physical therapy in Mass General and Brigham Women's Hospital. There's just no way that we're ever going to really show up for number one for physical therapy Boston. So what we did instead is we took a look at the search terms that were happening, and instead of going after physical therapy Boston, our SEO strategy was around sports physical therapy clinic Boston, or progressive physical therapy Boston, or fitness physical therapy Boston. And that's where we leaned our SEO efforts into, and it worked really, really well for us. So that's something to think about on the SEO end. SEO is comprised, local SEO is, again, fairly simple, hard and tricky to actually execute on. But what you need to do is you need to do a back-end technical assessment of your website. Make sure all of your meta descriptions, your title tags, your sitemap, Google's crawled your website, all of those things are dialed in. And then we do a pillar and cluster blog model for those keywords that we're going after. And again, the most important thing for SEO is consistent and ongoing content. So you can't just write a handful of blogs once every quarter. You need to have consistent blogs going out at all times. That's how you really lock in that local SEO and you handle the organic side of the search. The paid side of the search is going to be through Google Ads. Google Ads is an extremely effective way to grow and scale your business. We leaned on this very, very heavily for Ripple. We do it with most of our Patch members as well. And the beauty of Google Ads is that you can, pay to rank instead of doing all of that back-end SEO. The cool part about search is that the better your SEO is for your website and your business listing, the cheaper your Google Ads are going to be. So if you have a really poorly authoritative website that Google views as not having all of their SEO locked in, then you're going to pay more on the Google Ads side of things for physical therapy Boston or whatever your city might be. So that's something to remember, that these things work hand in hand together, and you can't just do one and think that you have it solved. You've got to do all of these things. So that's going to be on the search side. So we've got local marketing, we've got search strategies. The third segment is going to be your CRM system, the backend systems. This is something that even if you are in side hustle mode right now, or just went full time and just, getting your feet underneath you, you should be leaning into this, because you could, at any stage of growing a business, you can't afford to have potential patients fall through the cracks because you're not doing a good job of organizing all of your leads. So, what a CRM does is it, tracks patient interactions, it automates the follow-up for you, and it gives you a really good idea of, where's everybody at in the buyer's journey. So who on your list has filled out a form but has not booked a discovery call. So they've inquired about services, but they haven't actually taken that first step to, go into the sales cycle. Who came in for an evaluation but didn't move forward in a plan of care? How are we reaching out and following up with those people? Who came in for a package, finished that package, but didn't move forward on any sort of continuity? All of these touch points and these different personas within the buyer's journey, this is what a CRM helps categorize for you and makes your follow-up very, very easy. Google Ads was a really big part of us growing Ripple. The CRM was probably the most important part because I took the follow-up in the lead nurture process and staying on top of lost leads very seriously. I've talked a lot in my newsletter and on Instagram about this rule of 100, that every day clinic owners should be reaching out or interacting with 100 people every single day. A CRM is the easiest way to do that because everything's super organized. Instead of this taking you 3 hours every day, it'll take you 30 minutes every day. And as you're trying to grow a clinic, you need that extra time. So, a CRM, it's, not only going to organize all of your leads, it should be your tech stack of one. As a PT clinic owner, you shouldn't have all of these different pieces of technology because that's where things get super confusing. So again, if you have ConvertKit and Calendly and your EMR and, another sign up tool, it's just too much. So what a good CRM will do was that it'll put everything in one spot. So again, we utilize HubSpot for all of this. So in HubSpot, we send all of our weekly newsletters out. We send all of our automated email and follow-up. HubSpot integrates with PT Everywhere, so we do all of our patient tracking inside of there. We can understand when was the date of somebody's last appointment, when's their next appointment, how many sessions do they have remaining, and any type of marketing event that we're doing. If we need specific time slots or people to sign up for an event, that's all done through HubSpot. So not only do I only have to deal with one piece of software, but everybody that's coming to these events or inquiring about services, it's all getting put into that one spot. So it helps you manage leads from initial inquiry to booking. It allows for you to directly follow up with leads, and you can even integrate your phone system with it if you're interested in, SMS marketing. It makes everything really, really easy. So CRM systems, this should be number one, to be honest with you. This is what we do inside of Patch. This is the first thing we build out for anybody before we get super fancy with any ads or email marketing campaigns, because you have to have these backend systems in place, because this is how, the easiest new patient to get in the door is going to be somebody who already knows who you are. So that's a really important thing to remember. And that's how, leveraging a CRM can get you more new patients. The last part, number 4, the fourth way to get more new patients in the door. I think this is going to become super important in 2025. I took parts of this very seriously as I was running Ripple, but not all of it. And that's going to be content marketing. So content marketing, what that's going to do is, this is really like the top of funnel nurture piece that you have for your business. So you're going to, what content marketing does is it just consistently engages and builds relationships with your audience on a very organic level. So the more content that you're putting out there, the more trust that you're building with your community, the more likely they are to come to you when they need something from you. They need to solve, they need their back pain fixed, or they're training for a marathon, or whatever it might be. So a lot of what I look at on the content marketing side of things is, where are people at? How are we utilizing content marketing for different parts of the buyer's journey? So you obviously have the top of funnel organic content, which is going to be, all the Instagram posts that you're putting out and just trying to build that engagement with your community locally. I think the most, the easiest way that top of funnel marketing works is going to be on the Instagram side of things. Everybody's posting on Instagram. I think a lot of people are starting to get into the LinkedIn side. That could definitely be another way. But the way that we're reaching most people is going to be, on the Instagram side of things. Then you start, somebody follows you on Instagram or they find you on Instagram. And I think you could even put search in that top of funnel marketing side of things. So maybe they're looking for, again, a physical therapist and they landed on your page. So search in, that content is going to be that top of funnel. So search, where we can start to get into search for the content marketing side of things, is going to be all the blogs that you're putting together. So the blogs are going to help you rank so that when somebody at the top of funnel searches for best physical therapist near me, you are showing up. Same thing, people can do that on the Instagram side of things, where they're looking for a physical therapist or maybe somebody to repost it. they're going to find you there. They're going to follow you. And then that relationship starts from there. Next, you get to the middle of the funnel for the content marketing. This is where a little bit longer form things come into play. And I think a lot of clinics, this is a big missing piece here. We're putting out a bunch of Instagram content, but we're not doing anything to nurture those people afterwards. So this is where, leaning into a podcast becomes super helpful. Can you put together educational information in terms of like a downloadable ebook? Are you sending those top of funnel strategies? So the Instagram posts that you're putting out and the blog content that people are landing on. The most important thing to do for that is to make sure that you're having a call to action for people to listen to your podcast or download this ebook or sign up for a newsletter, because then you can start to nurture those people a little bit more with a little bit longer form content. And that's where you start to build that trust even more. And then people are really going to come in and work for you because you're staying top of mind. And, when they need a problem solved, they're not going to want to go anywhere else. So content marketing, again, it's going to be Instagram posting. It's going to be blogs. It's going to be podcasts. It's going to be ebooks. It's going to be newsletters. The most important thing to remember with this, and where this is different for everybody, is what you have to do is you have to figure out, where are your people hanging out? This is where, we had two different avatars at Ripple. We had corporate Carl, who hung out on LinkedIn and was posting on LinkedIn all the time. So we had a LinkedIn strategy that we're leaning into there, and we're trying to get in front of corporate Carl, who is the classic 45 to 55-year-old guy who worked in finance, who has a couple kids, lives in the suburbs, very type A personality. We figured out that guy was hanging out on LinkedIn, so we posted a ton on LinkedIn and tried to get in front of him there. We also had another avatar, which we called SoulCycle Sarah. She was finding all of her information on Instagram, so we posted a bunch on Instagram. And this was much less on the side of, here's an article about how to repair ACL, how to come back from ACL surgery. It was more engaging. It was more entertaining, kind of showing our personality and our brand side of things so that they can then move into the middle of the funnel because they really enjoyed our content. And that's how they found us. So that's a really important thing to remember when you're thinking about content marketing is, where are your avatars hanging out and how do you get in front of them from there? So to recap, again, we have 4 different ways to get more new patients in the door. Do an assessment of your business right now. Are you doing all 4 of these things? And if not, why? And, who is the person that's going to come in and start doing these things for you? And, if it's not you, again, who are you hiring? Who are you bringing in to do these things? So they are, number 1, local marketing. Number 2, it's going to be on the search. Number 3, it's going to be your backend CRM systems. And the 4th thing is going to be content marketing. Again, if you're looking to grow and scale, if you need more new patients on your schedule, then you need to be doing not 1 of these, not 2 of these, not even 3 of these. You need to be doing all 4 of these different things to get more new patients in the door. Hopefully this helps. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me over a message on Instagram. It's @_Jeremy Dupont. Would love to hear what you guys think about this. And if you want anything covered in future podcast episodes, drop me a note, like, subscribe, do all the good things, and I'll talk to you guys soon.